checked. And we are now broadcasting live. Now we'll do this. Yeah, we'll check it.
Broadcasting on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yep.
Go to that.
You can pull it up on there.
Go to the website.
I don't have internet on this. I gotta connect to the port.
Is that open? I never been in here. Make sure to let you out.
Yeah, I know. Sandy, you don't have paper up here, or you don't have paper.
Oh, you did? Okay. Thank you.
Go in my car.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You sure? Okay. Thank you.
Is it broadcasting right now?
It says start.
Yeah. Nothing's streaming. Yeah.
How long you been here? This time, I guess you're really good for you. Good for you.
Should you hit stream?
Yeah.
I press start.
Okay.
Is it just recording or streaming?
I have no idea.
You don't have to subscribe to view it, do you?
We got no viewers, so that's good.
What do you have? Town administrator? Do we have a town administrator?
Had one.
Huh?
We had one.
Subscribe to it.
I'm subscribed.
We got no viewers, so that's good.
How do you unsubscribe?
I don't know.
Stepping up, doing more.
It ups your email
Yeah.
like about 1,000.
Handling all that. Hi, sir. How you doing?
Settings?
It's not working.
Thank you very much. And I'm Scott, by the way.
Nice to meet you.
Yep. Were you from Seaside Park? Or?
No, I live in Bayville. I work at Borough Hall.
Okay, got it.
The clerk's office.
Okay, thank you.
So Sandra, we are broadcasting, but it's not going anywhere right now.
It's not streaming on the channel.
We got 0 viewers, and Josh is trying to view, but we are doing its thing. So hold on to that for a second. You sent me the link.
Goats, did you go to uploads or did you go to live?
I'm on the live link. It says no content yet.
Because we tested it yesterday and it was working fine.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, refresh it.
We tested it yesterday and it was working fine.
All right, let's stop that for a second.
Do we cancel it?
I just started it again. Should come up.
So it just has a little bit of a delay.
What'd you have to do?
I just kept refreshing it. It might operate on a small delay.
This Wi-Fi or
I know.
so?
I know. First responders still there.
There we go. It's up. It's almost done.
Yeah.
We're up and streaming now, so
Should we stop it and then start it? Or no?
yeah, everybody knows that it's on. You'll see how many viewers pop up. Well, your phone doesn't do anything.
legacy to my family, you know, and so.
There he is. How are you? Fist bump, right? How are you? Well, Hi, Jason. Thank you for all right. Thank you very much.
Thanks for bringing your trip up. I'm an old scout, so.
Oh, excellent. You guys want to do a dry run?
What?
You guys want to do a dry run?
I think we'll be good.
Sure?
Yeah.
Boys?
Yep, we're good.
You want you good? You want to do a dry run? Sure you're going to get it? Punch, turn around, go back.
We could have Tommy at the end, so we have as the line leader.
Well, I was kind of doing it your way, which because of the flag bearers, but then afterwards seniority.
Yeah, everybody's been.
And then when we turn around, the new guys go back.
There's no. Of course, the water.
6-1, half dozen the other. All right, why don't you guys do just one? Make me happy. Just do one.
Okay.
About Landon.
Just take a flag.
Okay.
Alright, so Landon and Matt.
But I'm here more than I am.
And Michael.
Living in
That's
Europe,
space.
my office.
That's space. Look up. That's space.
Okay, yeah.
They got a camera. More people use them on their bikes and. Boy Scout.
Matthew, get everybody like lined up with the flags on the side.
What?
Everybody get in a straight line, okay? William, come on down and come on forward. Yeah, there you go. Get a little tight. Get a little. Okay. Ready? Okay. Yeah, you're not kidding. I'll move it right back when I'm done. Thank you.
This is live streaming right now, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Here we go. Ready? All right. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Okay.
Say huh? Because I know what huh means now. Did you understand you have nothing to add? I'm learning. It's going to take me a little while, but I'm learning. Oh my goodness! I'm moving!
Bye, Nina.
That doesn't mean when you turn 15, it happens. So we have 14, no, 15. No.
Thomas. No, can you? No, Tommy, come on.
institute the Pledge of Allegiance? Or the,
I would say so, yes. We can take it.
you can take it.
That's yours.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I got the epic game. What a game it was.
When I'm holding your flag, I would just kick you in the shin and put them down. Since I'm holding the flag, I don't need to, right? Correct. You aren't the only one called. Just make sure he knows. You're good.
Landon.
Uh-oh, we're starting.
Welcome, everyone. This is our annual Borough of Seaside Park Memorial Day service. And obviously, this year, our service is a little different. And we recognize and honor all those who have been serving us as first responders. But this day, as we all know, we in Seaside Park and throughout our country join together to recognize and to thank all the men and women who have worn the uniform on behalf of our great country. And most importantly, here, as everywhere throughout our state and country, we honor and thank all those who have paid the ultimate price and made the ultimate sacrifice so that each and every one of us can enjoy the very special freedoms that all too often we can take for granted, but we never should. And today, of all days, we recognize that freedom as we join here together in our annual service. We will begin our program by the posting of the colors of Boy Scout Troop 175. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty. Next, performed by Charlie Miller, we will have our national anthem.
Stars
open our program, for our invocation, we welcome Father Michael Lawrenson. Today we remember the many brave men and women who have given their lives to the history of our country to protect us from danger and harm. We salute all those who have served in the military, the police and fire departments. This Memorial Day we remember as well the healthcare workers and first responders who have lost their lives to COVID-19 after caring for those people infected with the virus. We also remember all those who sustained injury in mind and body in the course of their service to these United States. We pray and remember that God's Spirit fills the whole world, from the east to the west, from the desert to the mountains. Blessed are you, O God, and you have given us a share in your life, and you dwell in us, in our midst. In the beauty of our diversity as a nation, we call on you as God, Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit, Creator God, Adonai, Allah, Señor Dios. We commend to you all those men and women who have died in the service of this country, these United States of America. Open the gates of paradise for them and welcome them into the eternal embrace of your infinite, merciful love. As we unite our prayers with their prayers before the throne of God, we pray in earnest for the safety and well-being of all members of our military services at home and abroad, and their families. We pray in addition for all healthcare workers, first responders, essential personnel, law enforcement, and members of fire departments. Banish violence from our midst and wipe away our tears, that we may all praise and bless your name this day and forever. Amen. We will now have a recitation of In Flanders Field by a representative of Boy Scout Troop 175.
To you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith, with us we die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
And we thank Michael Vandover and his fellow scouts of Troop 175. Next on our program, we will have a moment of silence for all the deceased veterans, those from our beautiful town of Seaside Park, our shore area, and throughout our great country. Next on our program, once again, we welcome and thank Charlie Miller, who will honor us with some verses from the Navy hymn, Eternal Father, Strong to Save.
A slight change. We'll be doing verses 1 and 4 if you're up to singing. Eternal Father, strong to save, whose arm doth bend the restless wave, who bids the mighty oceans deep its own appointed limits keep. Oh, hear us as we cry to thee, for thine in peril on the sea. O Trinity of love and power, whose children shield from danger's hour, from rock and tempest, fire and foe, protect them wherefore e'er they go. Thus evermore shall cry to thee the hymns of praise from land and sea.
Before I have the distinct honor of introducing this year's speaker, I wanted to share a moment, and the Navy hymn brought it to my attention as I was honored, as we all were, to have my father served in the Navy in World War II and in the Korean War. And I also remember the words of one of the members of a longtime Seaside Park, South Seaside Park family. And he was also in the Navy. He was a pilot. And he is Bob Wetzel. And I remember my first conversations with him. He was shot down in the first Gulf War, and his family and his extended family, of course, is still in the Seaside Park area where they summered and lived for many, many years, many generations. It's the Wetzel, Rieger, Sullivan family, and Bob was shot down, and his family had no idea throughout the entire Gulf War that he was still alive. And it was only back when the cable news showed the prisoners being released at the end of the war, and he was one of the very last ones in line, and there he was. And that was the first time his family and all our friends and neighbors even knew that he had made it. And he came back here to Seaside Park, and I know we're honored here today to have many former members of the governing body along with the current town council, all of whom are standing, and all of us are naturally appropriately observing social distancing from one another, but we're not socially distancing at all when it comes to standing shoulder to shoulder with everyone who has served our country. And besides the current governing body, I know we have former Mayor Matthews this year. We're honored in his presence, Councilwoman Carlson, and others from the governing body. I always run the risk when I start thanking, but there's many to thank, all of whom are memorialized in our program here today. But I wanted to finish my thought when you may recall, those that were here back, we were honored, and there was a big rally when then Secretary of Defense Cheney came to Seaside Park and Seaside Heights. We had a rally on the beach, and we welcomed back Colonel Wetzel. And I remember speaking with him the first time since he had returned and the war had ended, and obviously his love of country, his duty to his fellow men and women in the service, the Navy, his family, and his faith carried him through that period of imprisonment. But I do remember speaking with him one other words that he said. He remembered when he sat there when you're a prisoner of war, going through everyone in your old neighborhood, all your family, making up conversations to keep your sanity, keep your love of country, and keep going. And one of the things he also said was he always kept his beautiful family memories of Seaside Park. And that too is something we all are honored to share here today. It is now my distinct honor to welcome a very distinguished speaker, and we're all privileged to have him here today. He is indeed very modest, and I'm only going to highlight some of his background for us, but I did notice that right off in talking of the Iraqi War, wearing among his medals, he was awarded the Silver Star for heroism in Operation Iraqi Freedom 1. And we are honored to have our neighbor, United States Army Lieutenant Colonel Scott E. Rudder, to join us here today. U.S. Army Lieutenant Rudder retired from the Army. He retired from the Army after serving over 20 years in air assault, light and mechanized assignments in the desert, the Pacific, and in the continental United States. He then served several years overseas and has deployed occasionally to Saudi Arabia, Korea, Kuwait, and Iraq. He also served as a senior intelligence officer with the Defense Intelligence Agency. And during Operation Desert Storm, then CPT Rudder commanded C Company, the 2nd Battalion, 16th Infantry Rangers in the 1st Infantry Division, and he was decorated then with the Bronze Star for Valor in 1991. And during Operation Iraqi Freedom, LTC Rudder commanded the 2nd Battalion, 7th Infantry, cotton balers in the 3rd Infantry Division, and he made the initial assault into Iraq all the way to Baghdad as part of the tip of the spear. He's a much sought-after speaker, businessman. He's an established writer as well, and an experienced media analyst. And his mission now is to champion the cause of our military and veterans. He serves as the president of the Valor Network and Valor Tactics. He's also served as the president of the 7th Infantry Regiment Association, board member for TAPS. That's the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, as well as he has organized many Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and military events. LTC Rudder donates much of his time and energy to speaking at many organizations and universities to help raise awareness about the issues facing our service members and our veterans. Would you please join me in welcoming our distinguished speaker here today, Lieutenant Colonel Scott Rudder.
I'm honored to be here. Usually on Memorial Day, I'm down in Washington, D.C. with the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, and TAPS is an organization where we support the children of deceased service members. Last year, for instance, we brought in 2,700 moms, dads, mothers, and fathers that lost one of their children or parents or cousins in Iraq or Afghanistan or worldwide or here in the United States. I'm humbled to be here. Mayor Peterson, distinguished guests, town leaders, friends, residents of Seaside Park, Father. Thank you for joining me to pay tribute to those brave men and women who have given their lives in defense of our nation. I'm honored to be here with you on such an important day. The importance of Memorial Day can never be overstated. For many, it is a time for backyard barbecues and an extended weekend at the beach and the official start of the summer season. But for those of us who have taken the time to gather here today, I think Memorial Day holds a much deeper meaning. We are here to honor the memory of those who chose to be part of something larger than themselves by joining the military. We honor the memory of those who not only answered the call of duty, but were willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to defend the United States of America. We remember the service members that made the ultimate sacrifice. Forever engraved in my memory are the 10 fallen soldiers from my battalion task force. Sanders, Sullivan, Smith, Creighton, Williams, Kurt, Rankin, Myers, Hollinshead, and Sergeant First Class Smith. Some of you may recognize the name of Sergeant First Class Paul Smith, who is one of only a handful members in Iraqi freedom that has been awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. I had the honor to be part of that nomination process for his act of uncommon valor and bravery. Let me take you back. On the morning of 4 April 2003, Task Force 27 Infantry was in its third day of continuous fighting and killing the Special Republican Guard at Baghdad International Airport. We had the task of blocking brigade-size attacks attempting to challenge the rest of 1st Brigade in its seizure of Baghdad International Airport terminals and the actual airport proper. In addition to the task force preventing an attack on our sister elements of our brigade, enemy forces launched an attack against our task force combat trains, which is the center point of logistics of the fight, which included our maintenance collection point, as well as our forward aid station where our wounded soldiers, over 50, were being treated. In addition to securing the combat train, Sergeant First Class Paul Smith and his platoon began the task of constructing an enemy prisoner of war holding area along the north central part of the task force blocking position, totally unaware of the impending company-sized threat. While constructing the holding area, a hostile and organized company-sized force of 100 Iraqi Special Republican Guard armed with automatic, semi-automatic weapons, mortars, anti-tank weapon systems, direct fire weapon systems, attacked and destroyed the Task Force 27 Infantry Forward Aid Station, Mortar Platoon, and portions of our engineer company, Bravo Company, 11th Engineer Battalion. Realizing the vulnerability of over 100 friendly soldiers to a deliberate enemy attack, Sergeant First Class Paul Smith organized a fighting force of approximately 20 soldiers, including 1 Bradley fighting vehicle and 3 armored personnel carriers. During the course of the ensuing fight, Sergeant Smith positioned himself forward to control available direct fire weapon systems that included small arms, M16s, M203s, grenade launchers, anti-tank weapon systems, and automatic crew-serve weapons. As the fight developed, Sergeant Smith braved the hostile enemy direct fire to inspire the quickly assembled defending force by personally throwing hand grenades, personally firing an anti-tank weapon system, while leading the casualty evacuation of 3 soldiers from an armored personnel carrier struck by a rocket-propelled grenade. Fearing the enemy would overrun the 3 wounded soldiers, with the soldiers repositioning on the attack, Sergeant First Class Smith moved under constant enemy fire to a 50 caliber machine gun on a damaged armored personnel carrier to engage the enemy force. Fully aware of his actions were needed to protect the center flank of the task force, Sergeant Smith ordered another soldier to continue to have him feed him ammunition. With total disregard for his life, Sergeant Smith maintained his position and continued to engage the enemy. We watched him fight for his life before his death. Sergeant Smith is one of many reasons why we're assembled here today. We paused in our busy schedules to spend a few moments reflecting on what it is to be an American warfighter. Our men and women in uniform are an extraordinary group of people, each of them willing to give it their all when they join the service back in the American Revolution or at the local recruiting office. As the former president said at Memorial Day event at Arlington National Cemetery, the fallen patriots we memorialize today gave their last full measure of devotion. Not so we might mourn them, though we do. Not so our nation might honor their sacrifice, although it does. They gave their lives so that we might live ours, so that a daughter might grow up to pursue her dreams, so that a wife might be able to live a long life, free and secure, so that a mother might raise her family in a land of peace and freedom. Everything we hold precious in this country was made possible by Americans who gave their all. And because of them, our nation is stronger, safer, and will always remain a shining beacon of freedom for the rest of the world. Courage, selfless service, loyalty, and devotion to duty. Those are the words that I could use to describe the soldiers that I had the honor to serve with as we crossed the berm and entered to liberate Iraq in 2003. Like the brave veterans who lay in eternal sleep at our nation's cemeteries today, service members continue to prove they're willing to risk everything and to give up the comforts of life so that others, average American citizens, can go about their daily routines freely and without fear. At this very moment, a service member is risking his life for you while on patrol in the mountains in Afghanistan, or another service member is shoving aside feelings of homesickness while the soldier tends to the needs of a wounded comrade in a forward support trauma hospital. They do this for you. They do this for their country. And they do this because, like millions before them, they have answered the call to duty. Today, let us pay tribute past and present. And let's take it even further. Let's celebrate their life and their legacy. Let us make a personal commitment to do two things in the coming weeks. One, to visit a monument of a fallen service member and to silently thank them for their service. And to reach out and shake hands to a soldier, sailor, Marine, airman, or veteran, whether it's someone in uniform standing in line at the grocery store or a veteran standing alone with his family. Tell them you understand the depth of their commitment. Tell them you are in awe of their bravery. Tell them simply thanks. In this way, we will take the spirit of Memorial Day beyond the boundaries of just one day. In closing, I would like to share with you a letter that I wrote a year or two ago to the daughters of one of my soldiers that was killed in Iraq, Sergeant Eugene Williams. His daughters' names are Monica and Maya. Maya was graduating high school. Dear Maya and Monica, your father's legacy continues as reflected in the hard work and dedication that both you have demonstrated over the years. Having had the honor to work and to be with your dad in combat, I have come to realize the special bond between fathers and daughters. Not a day went by without your father talking about both of you. It was like we were there in your life. Even when your father had duty at battalion, he would come into my office and talk about both of you. It seems like yesterday. Your father's life was filled with joy, having the love from both of you, as well as your dear mother. His smile and his attitude echoed an unbelievable family home life and a special love and affection for his family. No doubt that her sacrifices contributed to your exceptional upbringing. A life continued with love and affection of both parents with only one present. Your dad's legacy and spirit was fostered by her efforts. She provided a special gift of unending commitment and love. This letter is about reflection, but most of all, it is about life. It's not only composed of words and sentences, but is embraced with the meaning that is found between the lines. Your father is a hero in the sense not only did he serve and give his life to this country, but he loved and cherished his wife and daughters. That I can tell you for sure. Your dad was a leader of soldiers, a true patriot committed to this great country. While in the 2nd Battalion, 7th Infantry Regiment, your dad cared for his soldiers as if they were his brothers. His days began early in the morning and ended well past sunset. He always went the extra mile to ensure his soldiers were prepared both physically and mentally for the next day's mission. Whether at Fort Stewart or during deployments, he ensured that his soldiers' families and personal needs were taken care of. I learned a lot from him, and I watched him grow into a great non-commissioned officer. I witnessed his personal character and commitment during several training exercises, as well as day-to-day operations. In Iraq, he was a strong and committed leader, ready to take on any challenge and lead his men in combat to support the United States of America. He was proud of his service, had deep respect for his soldiers, and always had his family in his thoughts. The day he was killed was very hard on the unit. We used his memory as strength to move forward and honor the hard work he had done. There are men who will never forget his impact on their lives, including myself. To do something greater than yourself, to risk your life for your country, is a defining personal sacrifice of the highest level. Sergeant Williams, your father was a person that believed in this country, his men, and loved for his family. He held and acted on those values until the day that he passed in service of this nation. I hope that this short note reinforces your faith and love for your dad. He's always with you, and this nation is forever grateful. When you have questions in your life, think of his commitment and love. I wish you much success and happiness as you move forward in the next stage of your life. He would be very proud of you. Very respectfully, Scott Brunner. Thank you for allowing me to share my personal thoughts on this special, solemn day of Memorial Day and a new celebration of life. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott, for that inspiration for all of us. There are many to thank for today's Memorial Day service, and I know I run a risk whenever I start thanking people by forgetting some, but I certainly wanted to give thanks to our town council, whose members are here, Council President DeMichael, Councilman Dr. Fritz McHugh, Councilman Ray Amabile, Councilwoman Faith Laguori sends her best wishes and love for us all as she was not feeling well this morning. Councilwoman Gail Coleman, Councilman Bill Crabb. I've already mentioned some of our former Mayor Matthews, former Councilman Carlson, and I'm sure there are others that have served our community over the years in various capacities. We also thank our police department through Chief Bogue and its leadership. We thank Eric Wojciechowski, Josh Fox, and all the members of the Seaside Park Public Works Department, not just for their efforts on today's date, but throughout the crisis in our state and our town as well. We thank the members of the Seaside Park Volunteer Fire Company who are here with us and also have served us throughout this crisis, throughout the year, and for many years. So too, we have President Mark Pitchell here and the members of the Triborough First Nation who have given tireless efforts throughout the years and especially again throughout the current coronavirus crisis. We thank the members of the Seaside Park Environmental Committee, the Seaside Park Beautification Committee, the Seaside Park PTA, Seaside Park Historical Society, the Union Church of Seaside Park, the Parish of St. Junipero Serra, the Sand Dollar Garden Club, the Seaside Park Democratic Club, the Seaside Park Republican Club, the Seaside Park Yacht Club, whose members are here as well, VFW Post 6063, the Berkeley Striper Club, and of course our Scouts, Troop 175. Next on our program, we will again first have the playing of taps. And in my words of appreciation, I also want to acknowledge the Deputy Borough Clerk who's here recording the event, Ms. Sandy Martin. Next on our program, I will call upon Pastor Al Spangler of the Union Church of Seaside Park to give us the benediction.
Let's pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, in your hands are both the living and the dead. We give thanks for all those, our brothers and sisters, who have laid down their lives in the service of our country. May they rest in peace, and may your eternal light shine upon them. The good work of seeking justice for the oppressed and peace for all mankind be rewarded with success, that their sacrifices shall not have been in vain. And may we never fail to remember the awesome cause of freedom that we enjoy. We ask you now to bless our families, our communities, our state, and our country. For we ask it in the name of the only true God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen.
We will now once again call upon Boy Scout Troop 175 to retire the colors. We will conclude this morning's service with once again music provided by Lieutenant Colonel Charlie Miller, and he will play for us God Bless America.
God bless America, the land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the light with the light from
everyone, thank all of you for coming out today. And as I indicated, we may be social distancing, but we stand together side by side in celebrating and thanking and honoring everyone who has served our country and given the ultimate sacrifice. Thanks again.
Copies of the program.